Okay. Hey, loves, hey. So, love is not about what you say, it's about what you actually do. Most of us get caught up in the word love because love is a strong feeling, right? It's a strong emotion, that we have for whether it's a person, a place, or a thing. But the one thing that we don't seem to understand as individuals is what exactly love is. We tend to think that everybody who says, you know, I love you, that they love us. Um, we tend to think that, just because somebody is around us and, that's what we hear them say constantly, that that's what, they mean. But I want to ask you something. Say if somebody constantly told you they love you, but they constantly rolled their eyes at you, they constantly frowned up at you, or anything of that nature, how would you feel? Would you feel like you're being loved on? I think we can all agree that you wouldn't. You wouldn't. So make sure that y'all stick around in here for some clarity on exactly what love is. So for my newcomers, hey, thank you for coming here and for joining me. Make sure that you all, before we go any further, hit that subscribe button so you can get more clarity on how to build your confidence, okay? Also, for my royal people that's always here, y'all keep me going. I want to say thank you to constantly coming back for more clarity because without you, there is no me. And if for those y'all that don't know me, I am Queen A. I am your clarity coach. I am an author, and I am the CEO of S&B Sense, which is my family's own brand. Okay, it's our own business. What I do is I help aspiring entrepreneurs, young to middle age, just like you. I help them overcome self doubt. I help them overcome the feeling of being a failure. I help them understand what fear is, walk into it, right? I help them actually understand what love is, things of that nature. That is what this channel is all about. And if that sounds like something that you're interested in, or you know someone that needs clarity on them things, make sure that you invite them to this channel and you subscribe right here, okay? So we're just going to jump right on into it. So love is an action word, not what you say. You can say I love you all day, but are you spitting in my face? That's the question we have to say. I want y'all to understand. So when you truly love someone, especially when it comes to loving yourself, so this channel is all about you. When you truly come to loving yourself, the first thing you have to understand is that love plus listening equals clarity. Listening is the key ingredient when it comes to love. And not just listening, active listening, okay? So it is a constant thing. These are things that we do daily. So let's talk about what love is. Because a lot of people don't even know the definition of love. And that's why I like to give clarity on that. So let's talk about what the definition is. So the definition of love is it's a love is an intense feeling of deep affection or admiration for someone or something. That's why every time we talk about loving something, whether it be music or whether it be a TV show, we have a deep feeling attached to it, right? We're excited about it, right? We're like, oh my God, that's my song. Are you ready to jam? Or, oh my gosh, I just love him, right? You have a deep feeling or deep admiration for it. That is exactly what love is, okay? Now, I want you to understand that these are things that is proven in daily actions. Daily actions. So when you constantly love someone, first thing, you are constantly listening to them. Just think about if someone is talking to you, and we're going to talk about the difference between listening and active listening. And if I have moms out there, hey, to my moms out there, I know y'all can understand this one right here, right? I see and then they say, I hear you, right? Hey, how y'all doing, loves? Hey, Elliot. Hey, Adende, am I pronouncing that right? If I am not, I do apologize. Hey, Drip Kicks, how y'all doing? Okay, make sure that y'all come on in here. But I want y'all to understand the difference between listening and active listening for mom. So let's say somebody's like, you know how your kid come up to you, parents, and they like, Mom, can I talk to you? And let's say you like, you know what? Yeah, you can talk to me. What you gotta say? I hear you. I hear you. And they like, I got this test tomorrow that I need help with, and you constantly like this, like, okay. And then let me come over here. You see how that was? Wasn't it like a lot of confusion going on? Did you really feel like I was listening? No. So do you think that the child feels like you're listening? No. Right? No. That's why active listening. Now let's switch it up. Right? Now let's say on the flip side, right? Let's say on the flip side that your child come in and they say, Mom, can I talk to you? And you like, yeah, baby, you can talk to me. And then you close your journal. Of course, we have our journals, right? So you close your journal and then I put my journal up and then I do like this and I get quiet. Do you think that they would think that you're paying them attention? Of course they would. So that is kind of just an example of the difference between listening and active listening. So that is one of the first things is not what you say, it's how you show up. So if somebody constantly told you they loved you, right? But every time you like, oh my gosh, I'm about to graduate. And they say, you know what? I got this thing over here I'm about to do. They just don't show up. And then you like, you know what? Okay, I got this signing, this book signing, and they just never show up. Or I got this performance, and they just never show up. And I want to talk about this when it comes to ourselves. Now let's refocus this when it comes to self-love, okay? So now that we know it's active listening, when it comes to ourselves, the main reason why a lot of us can't love ourselves is because we don't know how to get quiet with ourselves. So if the first step to love is listening, that means when it comes to yourself, you have to learn how to pause and get quiet. And that's why a lot of us don't understand what self-love is. And a lot of us don't understand what self-worth is. We don't even get quiet and show up for ourselves enough to pay attention. I'm just saying, okay? So the biggest block that most people face, right, when it comes to listening, especially when it comes to listening to everybody else, is listening to what? Listening to reply instead of listening to understand. You ever talk to somebody? And I know I used to be good at this. How many of y'all have talked to somebody? Just drop it in the comments if you ever talk to somebody, have a conversation with somebody, and you like, they talking to you, and the whole time they talking to you like, ooh, I can't wait till they get finished because I'm just going to tell them about themselves. Or I can't wait to tell them about my big adventure. You just can't wait to get off what you have to say. How many of y'all have done that? I know I have. I've done it. Now, I use this example to say that that's why a lot of us don't understand what love is. And that's why a lot of relationships are falling apart, whether it's personal or in business. Especially when it comes to personal and especially when it comes to business. Because just think of it. Say if you have a business partner and every time y'all have a meeting, y'all both just sitting there while the one of them talking, the other one is just sitting there like, oh my gosh, I can't wait till he get finished because he think that's a great idea. Wait till And then, meanwhile, then when you get to talking, the other partner is doing the same thing. What start happening is y'all start bumping heads because nobody is taking the time to sit back and listen enough to understand. Because one thing we have to understand is when we are active listening, the first step to active listening is to what? So it's 3 steps to active listening. First, you have to actually hear the words that's coming out somebody's mouth. And I know y'all like, well, Queen A, how can I not hear the words? If you're a parent, you're good at this. My kids say, Ma, and I say, huh, baby? And then they'll be talking, and I'm over here doing something else. And my daughter, she asks me all the time, she's like, Ma, you ain't really hear what I say, did you? And we both are bust out laughing because I'm not really listening. I didn't hear the words that come out of her mouth. So the first step to active listening, if you want to love on someone, something, and especially yourself, is to get quiet. Hear the words that are coming out the other person's mouth. Hear the thoughts that are floating around in your head. That is the first step. First things first, right? Now the next step, once you hear the words coming out, now guess what? What do you have to do now? So now I heard the words coming out. Now I have to what? Catch feelings. So you should always be catching feelings when somebody is talking to you. That's how you know you deep in the conversation and you're really hearing the words. Because when you really hearing a conversation, you're going to catch feelings, whether it's you're going to get excited about the conversation, whether you're going to get angry about the conversation, maybe you get, enthusiastic about the conversation, or whatever the case may be. Either way it go, if you're really actively sitting there, listening, hearing the words that come out of somebody's mouth, you should catch feelings. That's the second step to active listening. Right? So now I catch feelings for what you're saying. And then the third step to active listening is learning when and when not to respond. Now, this one right here, 3, I tell you right now, that's one of the hardest ones for me, still is. That's why I say these are constantly things that we have to learn how to do when you're truly loving someone or yourself. So let's say if I truly want to love myself, what I would do is first take the time to sit back. And this is why a lot of us don't know how to love ourselves, because we don't sit back and take the time to listen to ourselves. Well, let me listen to the thoughts that's going on in my head. Why am I in fear? Why am I feeling like a failure? Right? Why don't I feel like I love myself? Or what's keeping me from loving myself? What's keeping me, and if we don't understand what love is, what's keeping me from having a deep affection or admiration for myself? So that means if you looking in the mirror and you don't like what you see, or you just feeling down and out about yourself, in that moment, you don't love yourself. So it's time to take a step back. Let me sit back. Now, when I sit back and I digest and I see all the thoughts that's coming in my head, now I'm going to catch feelings for them. Either I'm going to be excited about what's going through my head, or I'm not going to be excited about what's going through my head. Right? Hey, it's good to have you back. But I want you to know it's either going to be one or the other. You're either going to be excited or you're not going to be excited about what's going through your head. And that's okay. But you have to catch feelings in order for you to acknowledge even what's going on through your head. Yes, catch feelings. I'm just saying, you have to. There's no way around it. A lot of people don't even understand that there's no way around it. So you have to catch feelings. And then I'm going to say, okay, you know what now? Do I need to, respond to these feelings that's going on in my head? Do I need to acknowledge them, especially if we're dealing with self? So one of the big things for me is I love to journal. So I have clarity journals, right? These are our clarity journals, but I love to journal. So I'll show you. You don't think so? I journal almost every day, but I do. I use my journal. See, I can see. I do. I journal. All right. So, and this right here helps me get all the fluff that's in my head, what I like to call, you know how they say when one door shut, another one opens? Well, some of us got too many, most of us got too many doors open in our head. And that's why we can't get ahead. And that's why we can't love on ourselves properly. So we have to take the time to sit back, listen to the thoughts in our head, Acknowledge them, catch feelings for them, whether it's angry or happy, and then dissect them. Acknowledge them. Do I need to respond to this? Is this thought even valid? And the best way for you to do that is to get it down on a journal. And if you don't have a journal, I love to say, like, let me tell you this, you don't have to get my journals. Okay? I'm a clarity coach, so let's talk about clarity. You can take a simple piece of paper and a pen, and you can get to journaling. Okay? So take a piece of paper and a pen and write down all the thoughts in your head that come to as soon as you say, why am I not confident in myself? Why don't I feel like I love myself? Or what's keeping me from having a deep admiration for myself? Yeah, I got the deep admiration for Mary J. Blige. Yeah, I got the deep admiration for R&B. Yeah, I got the deep admiration for, I don't know, Power or the TV show, whatever's popping. But why don't I have that same admiration for myself? Acknowledge them thoughts. Once you get them on paper, I love to say get them on paper because then it starts sounding silly. Like, oh, you know what? Why am I even thinking about this? Like, I ain't got, because I ain't got the money. How could I have the money? I ain't even made no money. Of course I don't have the money, right? Throw the thought out. And tune into the ones that matter. Okay? So, I want y'all to understand that y'all have to stop reacting and start respecting. So, stop reacting and start respecting. And that's one of the things that even I am learning daily, as we all should be learning daily. Remember, every principle that I teach on this channel, these are principles for you to be learning daily. You would not ever stop learning how to overcome failure, how to overcome fear, right? How to walk into your fears, because I teach that you don't actually overcome fear. You just step into it. Every time you acquire something new or unknown, you're going to get a little bit of anxiety. You might be a little bit hesitant or whatever, but them are all forms of fear. So we have to learn the difference. Just putting it out there, okay? So remember that love plus listening equals clarity, equals respect, equals self-worth for you. That's all I got. Make sure that y'all check out my free webinars. I do them every second Sunday. Every second Sunday, we do webinars. It's called Clarity Over Chaos. Check them out. It's available on Zoom. Okay? And I believe the link to the webinar is in this description. Make sure y'all check out them free webinars. And like I said, if you're brand new here, thank you for joining us. Make sure that y'all go ahead and subscribe to this channel for more clarity tips from Queen A. All right? So, I am about to be up off of here. I hope y'all got some clarity from this. And remember, it's not what you say. It is what? They say how you say it. But it's really how you respond to it, how you act to it. Okay? So that is what determines true love. Action. Not loudness. Not words. That's why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. All right? And with that, I'm out. And if nobody else love you, you already know Queen A does. Later. Mwah.